Good morning. Welcome back to the DanGoesOutdoors YouTube channel. If you're new around here, ever think about subscribing. If I've got a video, I put it out on a Sunday morning. Keep your eye out for that. Now I'm on my favourite big pit, doing a little bit of late summer, kind of early autumn carping. Really hoping to get one more big fish before it gets too cold. And yeah, I'm here at proper dawn's crack. It's still fairly dark. I had my headlights on driving here. One of the good things about this time of year is you don't have to get up ridiculously early to be there early. You know, it's a 5 AM alarm clock for me, and that's not too bad. So I'm going to put a lap in. Hopefully that'll tell me where to go, and then we'll get started. It's just gonna chuck it down today, unfortunately. So I'm quite keen to find a spot, and then yeah, get set up, get the bivvy up, and chill out. Would love one last big one before winter comes. I'm about 3/4 of the way around the lake now, and unfortunately haven't seen any fish. Really hope to get here early and see some fish showing and know where they are. So I thought I'd just mention to you that if you don't know where they are, what you've got to do next is go where you think they are. Now that's always a bit harder, but I'm looking at this wind, and normally the wind blows up this lake. It's now blowing down the lake, so I think I'm going to follow it down that way. There's a swim that I quite like the look of. I saw a few small fish topping in front of it, and when I was here a few weeks ago I did see some fish bubbling up there, and unfortunately I couldn't fish it because a guy was already in it, but yeah. Is that a fish? This is what happens when it's wavy. You see these things, you think, was that a fish, was that not? But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my gear on my barrow and go the long way to that spot. I'm not going to drive my car down, I'm going to go the long way. So it's a big barrow push, but at least then I'm giving the lake every chance to show me a fish. That's the way I see it. Yeah. Right. I'm now really paranoid that that was a fish. Don't think it was. There's some ducks. Right, get our gear and go the long way. I'm in my swim. I've already done my leading around, so let me just show you what I found. I wanted to do it quickly because I think this weather's going to turn any moment now. But yeah, about 40 or so yards, nice clear area surrounded by weed. That's a nice donk. And then I get 2 bumps back. I get 1, 2. Then this time it'll be in weed. There we go. Okay, it's spitting now. So that's it. I can put one on the horizon marker and I can squeeze another one in just to the left of it. And I think that's gonna have to be my lot. Maybe I'll get another rod out in between this rain, but I'm confident, and it feels carpy down here, dare I say. Well, you wouldn't believe it. I've left my rigs at home. I've bought a couple of rig balls, but the wrong ones. I've not got my hinge stiff rigs on that I really want. So I'm gonna have to tie up a couple of new ones now. Really frustrated with myself there. Don't know how I've done that. But we'll soldier on through, we'll get it done. Get these rods out whenever I get them out. That's annoying. Right, come on, let's get this done. Quite impressed with myself there and how quickly I can tie up a hinge stiff rig, but yeah, it's looking good. Gone a little bit softer in the boom, a little bit longer in the pop-up, just because of that, you know, the weed around the spot. Hopefully if it does land in a bit of that, it'll still get presented. Okay, rod number 2. The rain is really setting in now. I think you've got some on the lens. Okay, back in the bivvy, and I can't complain because this was forecast. Yeah, and I chose to come out in it, so I'm just going to stick those 2 rods out there. It took long enough to do with having to tie the rigs. My bivvy's a mess, I've got rig bits everywhere. I'll have to tidy all that away and just hope one of those rods busts off. It's a bit annoying, I can't see much of a lake from here, but when the rain settles and things, I'll go out and have a look around. With a bit of luck we'll catch. I put quite a lot of bait in then, 12 medium spawns, quite a lot for a day session, but the time of year, early September, when they can take a good hit of bait, and I've not seen any fish around, so maybe I need something to spark them up a bit. Who knows? Can't do anything else now. Got to keep our fingers crossed, try and dry my kit out in here. Oh, very weedy. Just about to say there's some mad fizzing going on my spot. Yeah, some crazy fizzing going on the spot, and that's quite a big tench, but I'm actually going to take this opportunity to redo my right hand rod because I had a funny occurrence on it earlier, and I was kind of thinking I really should redo that, but I just didn't want to make the disturbance, but it's kind of happened now. This is a pretty decent tench, to be fair. Got a very big head on it. Yeah, that's got to be £6, hasn't it? 6, maybe a bit more, maybe 7. It's a chunky one. Didn't fight at all because it was stuck in the weed. And I was just looking out the spot because it stopped raining, so I was looking and I could see it was proper fizzing up, and then sure enough, the left hand rod, big drop back. Bang. Big old £6-7 tench. Great. Probably the biggest tench I've had this year, I think. Awesome. Right, let's get it back. Rods are all reset and fresh hooks and everything. Hopefully we'll get a bigger fish, which will be a carp. Get our tench friend back. It's gonna go off like a rocket, I'm sure. Today, even when it's even when the sun's shining, it's still raining. It's one of them sort of days, but yeah, I've got about an hour to go. Unfortunately, nothing else has really happened. I've had a couple of liners, I think, a little bit of slick coming off my bait, but nah, it's just not really happening, it seems. I've seen one fish show up by the other island, annoyingly. Bit of a bosh and done, you know. I was thinking, should I go up? So I stood at the back there where I could keep an eye on that water for ages, and I kept looking and looking, and I keep coming out my bivvy and watching the water there, but I've seen nothing else since. So yeah, since I'm getting signs of fish here, I've stayed. Now, as I said earlier, I did come down a few weeks ago, but that session was an absolute nightmare. I did film a bit, so I'll put it over top as I talk about it, but I got here early to find the lake super weedy, crazy weedy. This swim was one of the few that had open areas, and I saw some good fizzing, but somebody was just about to set up in it, so yeah, I couldn't claim it. I then went round, got chatting to a guy called Brian. He was fishing the other side of that island, and while I was talking to him, he caught a mid-double common. So that was great. I went and got my stuff, and then I ended up fishing the opposite end of the island because it was nice and clear there. And you know, I'd seen him catch there, so I was like, right, well, Brian, do you mind if I go down there? He was like, no, go for it, mate. Within 45 minutes, I lost a carp. I was proper gutted. It was on, I felt it lunge, I was like, yes, it's definitely a carp. It was kiting, and it hit a big bed of weed. And I don't think the hook pulled, actually. I think what happened was the weed must have kind of almost acted like a T-bar and pulled the hook out, you know, like disgorged the fish for me, which is, yeah, so annoying. It was just like, it's on, it's off. I was walking back and yeah, really annoying. I then got some fish feeding down the edge, just in that corner over there. And I went back, put a solid bag in, very quickly caught a tench, and that was it. After that, the wind picked up all that weed that was on the surface. It was like a football pitch in areas. Came down the lake and was just wiping me out over and over again. And then Brian comes down and says, Dan, I've got another one. Do you mind taking some pictures for me? He'd caught a mint 23-pound mirror, proper dark scaly one. So yeah, a bit of a grueler of a trip, really. I'm really happy for him to have caught them fish. Like, I don't begrudge anyone catching fish. I just sometimes I sometimes wish it was me. Not that I wish they hadn't caught, I just wish I'd caught as well. But yeah, it just didn't happen for me that day. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time. I've only got about an hour to go today. So yeah, man, let's just hope we catch one. If not, I'm going to put the rest of my bait in because I've only got a few spawns left in the bucket. And get out of here. Okay, you guys know I appreciate every fish, but I've just managed to dry my mat out. Then there's a break in the weather, so I'll just quickly show you this fish here and then let it go. I hate to be one of those carp anglers just unhooking a fish at the side of a lake and then turfing it away. But there's a nice one. Brilliant. Right, I've got to go now, but you wouldn't believe it, in the past 10-15 minutes a fish showed up there, so I wound in my right hand rod and put it on it, and while I was doing that, a big common ghosted by close in here. I think it was attracted by all this silt I'd stirred up when I was messing with that other rod earlier. But yeah, that's the end for me. Luckily it's not rained for about an hour now, so everything's dry and I can just go. That's me all set up and fishing, and it is 7:15, so we're an hour and a quarter ahead of last week because I haven't done a lap of the lake this time and I didn't need to tie my rigs. I just did the very carpy thing of going straight back in the same swim that I fished 3 days ago. The way I'm thinking is I gave it quite a hit of bait that day. Even before I left, I put the rest of my bucket in. So with a bit of luck, that spot has been cleared off. And you know, the first rod went out of the right donk. The second rod, I felt that down as well. So I'm sure the fish have been on it. I know the swim has been fished in my absence because there's a bivvy mark in the grass and there's hemp on the floor down here, and I don't really bother with hemp much. So I'm sure this swim has been fished. That's fine. If anything, it means that some bait has gone in wherever. But yeah, the wind has switched. It's going up the lake this time instead of down. And there were a couple of spots up there that I fancied, but there are anglers in them already. You know, everyone who fishes here is on the game. They know what's going on. That's a fish out there, a small one. But yeah, I'm kind of excited about this. I decided to just get ahead of the schedule, get my rigs out, and just 10 small spawns this time. That's it. Just to get a little bit of bait out there. I'm sure what I put out will have been cleared, so just a small amount over the top. Nice and quiet, only one didn't open. Yeah, I'm buzzing about this. I've got to get my stuff away. I might try and find a margin spot, because last time we were here, I don't actually sort of see it as a blank. I kind of see it as I ran out of time. Because as I was winding in, one jumped out over by the island and a massive common went by close in here, like literally 2 rod lengths out. So I think that, if anything, I was just ahead of the fish. I'd followed the wind down here, but maybe the fish just hadn't quite got on it yet. And as I was leaving, that's probably when they were arriving, I feel. Anyway, yeah, everything's out, everything's settled. Both went out first time. This could be good. Just to keep you guys in the loop, I have put my 3rd rod out. I've actually only got about a couple of hours left of the session, and there's been fish showing about 20-30 yards out, all of them tench, till one carp came up, and that's what persuaded me to stick a solid bag out. So I just did it really quickly. Also had a guy in my swim chatting to me for ages. There's a guy down here who fishes it a lot. He's really nice, but he's got his problems, and he doesn't know when to leave. So I'll just chat to him, because he often gives quite good information out without realising it, because he's always down here walking around, so you can get quite a lot of knowledge out of him without him really realising it. And he told me that there was a guy fishing here. He did catch a fish off the reeds on the island and did put quite a lot of bait in, so I think those fish are showing over that guy's bait. So yeah, I've snuck a solid bag out there. We've now got maybe 2 hours to go. A bit of luck, one of these rods will do something, because these two have done now. No fish showing that way, all kind of out here. And that bag went down beautifully. Just as I was walking down to cast out what was going to be a single hook bait towards that reed bed, the bag rod's gone. Tench, no doubt. I think so. There are a couple of really big tench showing. Ooh, that's a big tench. Put it out of the way. Well, this is another belting tench. It's absolutely sprayed me with water. That's every bit of £7, I would say. That's cracking, that is. Did see a few big tench roll on that spot, and this is definitely one of them. But in fact, there's one pretty big dark fish, and I think this is it. But I've not put that solid bag rod back out. I've only got another half an hour. I've got that one out by the island. Surprised those rods have done nothing. You know, on that baited area, I've only got one on it now. You know, there's fish around. I think they're mainly tench, but we'll see. I don't have to keep coming back, you know. I want one more big fish before winter, please. That's a big fish, oh, look at that. I'm gonna get a couple of pictures of this one because it's a lovely tench. Minter. It's my home time and this weather's turning anyway. I'll tell you what, catching a carp from a 20 odd acre pit that's only got about 80 fish in is hard work, but you know, when they're in front of you, it's really annoying, and I feel like it's another session where I've not necessarily blanked, I've just run out of time again. If I could do the night, I'm sure I would catch. They're there, they're showing by the island, over there, down here, close in. I don't know. Let's get wound in. Did you see that? Hopefully you saw that. That was a carp. See, they're in here. And I've got to go. Oh. There we go. Fourth time lucky, I'm hoping. I'm here again on my late summer, autumn kind of campaign, although I don't really like describing carp fishing as a campaign, but that's what I'm doing. And today I've come up to the other end of the lake because, let's face it, I've not done very well down the other end. Now I'm fishing a spot that I've caught in before earlier in the year, and annoyingly the spot that I fished that time was completely weeded over. It was at short range, and all I was getting was silkweed, but really claggy silkweed. Like, didn't really want to fish over it, so I just kept going further and further out, and then a fair bit of range, getting on for more like 70 yards. Found a nice clear area, so I put my 2 rods on that, spommed about 10-12 spoms over it, and that didn't go well. I got a wind knot halfway through, got 4 or 5 of them out, and then that happened, so I had to untangle that, and then a couple didn't open. But you know what it is, it's all out there, it's all relatively accurate. So yeah, I'm pretty hopeful, because while I was setting up, one jumped out a bit further than where I'm fishing. Nice carp, not a tench, definitely a carp. So there are fish in the area, there's at least one anyway. There's a few anglers down that end, so maybe they'll push them up here, and the wind's going to come up this way. Yeah, I think we're in with a chance today. You're always in with a chance, but yeah, feeling good about this one. Little small fish there. Plenty of small fish in front of me, which I do like, although they're not carp. At least there's some life in the area. Can't be a bad sign anyway. Let's tidy up. I'm going to wind in for a recast. It's looking really good for a bite down here. Wind's coming and it's just clouded over, but I keep seeing fish along the far bank there. I've seen 2 in that corner, I've just seen 1 down here. So when I wind in, I'm just going to run around there, have a good look around. If I see any fish, I may end up moving. If not, I'm going to put these back out with heavier leads on, so that the weed that's building up on the line and causing a big bow doesn't drag my rigs out of position. yeah, I've ended up moving. I'm on the other side of a lake now, because when I went on my walk down that bank there, I saw a couple of fish, and while I was chatting to one of the bailiffs, a fish jumped out. So I've come round here, I've knocked up a couple of solid bags, and I've already had a quick lead about along that bank. It's weedy, but it's presentable with something like this. It's quite a chuck boat, it's over 80 yards, but you know, that's why I got this new setup, wasn't it? So I could fish at range. So it's about, there was a fish. Yes, 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 it's happening. Get on. Well, it's not happened again, and a total blank this time, not even a tench or anything. So that's really disappointing. I don't think I've done the wrong thing. I think coming around here and chucking solid bags at showing fish was definitely the right thing to do. That's classic fishing really, isn't it? Getting on the fish and giving them something that you rely on and you know they'll take. But yeah, it's just not come good. So got to wind in, I've got to go, and it's a big challenge this. I'll just hope it happens. Okay, all set. Fifth time bloody lucky, I hope so, because this is becoming a real grind. And yeah, it's cold today, really cold, so I'm thinking I'm running out of time, unless there's a bit of, do we call it an Indian summer, where you have another hot spell later on. If that doesn't happen, I think today and maybe the next session or two could be my last chance really, because when this lake shuts down, it does so hard. I've only known of maybe 2 or 3 fish come out in winter. To be fair, nobody really bothers, but yeah, it's difficult. So hopefully it'll happen this time. I'm back in the swim. I started in on my last session because the wind is going this way now and it is freezing. It is really, really cold. I can't see the fish being down that end, and I have been down there for a look. I spent about 15-20 minutes patrolling the bank this morning, didn't see anything, and it felt awful. It's like the North Sea down there. Whereas up here it's a little bit calmer. There's even some flat spots where the wind isn't hitting the water, and I bet the fish are here. I can't see them because it's so wavy. If a fish sort of did a small roll, you wouldn't see it, but you'd have to see a big crasher. Gonna get the bivvy up, gonna chill out, and fingers crossed it happens today. It would be great if it did. I know fish are still coming out. Sorry, I just absolutely gulped down my coffee. Fish are still coming out, so yeah, hopefully I'll get one. And that's it, the whole session has passed and I've not filmed anything because nothing's happened. The lake's been completely dead. It's been on and off rain all day. I've seen 2 fish show and that's it, 2 small ones over in that far corner where I chucked solid bags last week. I've been looking up and down the lake, walking kind of behind my bivvy so I can see most of it, and I've seen absolutely nothing. And I'm starting to think, should I really be doing this? You know, these 5 sessions, if I'd spent them, say, barbel fishing, what would I have caught if I'd done that instead? I normally get 1 or 2 barbels, sometimes more, so yeah, it's annoying, but that could have been a day I caught one, so just got to keep trying. Good morning. We are back out at it again. This is attempt number 6 of trying to get a big carp from this big pit, and yeah, it's been a struggle, as you've seen. It's now mid-October and this might be my last go because it's starting to get cold and it's also starting to eat into what will be my pike fishing, and there are little fish getting chased all over the place. I should be pike fishing today, but I want one last big fish, and you know, the water temperature must still be relatively high, and I think it's worth another go. You know, this end I've still seen fish up here, so I'm back in this swim. I'm now going to have a little bit of a lead around to the right, see if I can find something over that way, because I'm seeing activity over there too. I'm hoping that now the weed's dying, I'll be able to find something out there and get a third rod going, but if not, it doesn't matter because those 2 rods are out sweet. A little bit of bait over them. Yeah, I really want one today. So I did find something at a little bit of range over to the right here. It's a proper, what I call a blink and you miss it spot. I've got to hit the horizon mark on a right bit. If I go left or right, it's not on it, and if I get it on it, I get a little bit of a pull back, then nothing. So I think we've got kind of like a bit of a clear strip in the weed there. If I get my rig in, that'll be perfect. Might take a couple of casts, and then I'm just going to put maybe 3 or 4 spots over it. Got it in 3. Well, that spomming went rather well, if I do say so myself. 4 on the money at that range, all opening, all hitting a clip, brilliant. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I wish I'd found that spot earlier in the season, you know, to have had that in my back pocket would have been great. I feel like it's in a good area, but it's there today, so it's got as good a chance as any other day. Got a lot of tidying up to do after all this. And then, was that a fish? Was that a fish? You seen those? If that was a fish, that's good, because that's kind of, well, it's behind my spot, but it's in line with it. Oh, bloody cormorant. Why did they do that? They stay down for so long, you think you'll be dead if you don't come back up. And then boom. Oh, but that was a fish to the left there, small fish. But that's pretty much where my spot is. Okay, it's good. There's activity in the area. I've got about an hour left of this session now, and nothing has happened today. I've seen the odd fish in the area, but the rods just haven't gone off, and I am pretty gutted. You know, I've done 6-day sessions since mid-August for no carp. You know, had a few tench, but in the last 3 trips I've not even had a tench. And yeah, what weighs on my mind a lot is that if I'd gone barbel fishing, or if I'd gone even if I'd started my pike fishing, would I have caught more fish? Well, yeah, I probably would have done, and I might have even had a big fish. But I just had it in my mind that I really wanted a big carp, a 20-pound plus fish, you know, a nice big scaly mirror, bronze, dark common. Like, even thinking about it now, I would just love that in my net. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen, and I think I'm going to have to knock this carp fishing on the head, because it is cold. I'm sat here now and it is really cold. I was testing the rig in the margins earlier and the water was proper icy. So yeah, I think it's time I started thinking about pike. And yeah, I just wish I'd caught a carp, and I feel bad for you guys that I've done all this fishing, I've committed to all this time. I haven't been putting out other videos because I've been doing this and I've been failing, you know. And I do feel like I fished well. I've been casting to the clip. You know, those 2 rods went in first time this morning, and my spomming's gone pretty well. My rigs are good, my hooks are sharp. I know the tactics work. I've just perhaps not put myself in front of fish, or when I have put myself in front of them, it's been at the wrong time. Maybe if I could have stayed the night, I would have caught, but you know, a lot of excuses, and the bottom line is I've not caught. So yeah, that's it for another year, I guess. But on to better things. Pike fishing, perch fishing, all of that winter river fishing. I cannot wait for it. I'm going to get organised. I'm going to you know, get that order of dead baits in, and just, man, hopefully catch some big fish this winter. So stay tuned for that, subscribe for that, and yeah, if you've watched all of this video, thank you, and I'll see you next time. I keep laughing, but it's battle cry, isn't it? I just saw one show in front of a ramp down here, so since I was kind of half packing away anyway, I just whizzed round. I've chucked my 3 rods out of singles to the kind of area I thought the fish was in. I think if 1 out of 3 of them's presented, I'm lucky, but it's got to be worth it for the last little bit of a session.